Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Arden with us today. Arden, she is the founder of girlswhotravel.org. Her full name is Arden Joy, by the way. And you can find her at girlswhotravel.org. She's an author as well of Rising Action Publishing Collective. So we're going to talk about traveling. We're going to talk about traveling as a woman, digital nomadism, and everything in between. This podcast is brought to you by my podcasting company, which is called podbuyer.com. We help you scale, start, and monetize podcasting. If you are interested in that, you can Google Charles Cormier and Podbuyer, or go to podbuyer.com. Arden, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about Girls Who Travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and to chat. So my name is Arden. I'm the founder of Girls Who Travel. It's one of those stories where it started with my own personal experience of traveling growing up. We didn't have a lot of money. And so I didn't have a lot of experience traveling except kind of locally. And when I finally did take that really big trip, I found it to be a very transformational experience, and I wanted to help more women have that experience of discovering just how powerful they are, that they can go wherever they want to and really see the world. And so I started blogging about it. I created a blog called girlswhotravel.org, and I wanted to have other women travelers write as well. And so I would invite people, other bloggers, to share their story or any tips or advice that they had. And that was like 11, 12 years ago. And it has grown into, we call it the Girls Who Travel universe, because it is a massive organization now. We've got 87,000 people that are part of Girls Who Travel. We were named one of the top Facebook groups by Meta on their platform that are making an impact. We have a podcast and we have a website. We do trips. Our next one is going to be in Vietnam. So we offer a lot of resources and community, and just a lot. It's amazing. But it started as a blog and turned into this, which has been pretty incredible.
And what are the challenges to travel as a woman?
Gosh, there's so many things that hold women back. Obviously, the number one thing is safety. That's the biggest concern. Personally, you feel that, but then also I hear all the time when women want to travel, the people around them are like, oh my gosh, don't do it. You're not safe. Which is why we put together a course for safety for women, because there are ways, of course, to be safe. And a lot of that is fear-based instead of reality-based when you look at the statistics. So we also want to educate women about what actually to be worried about, and then how to do your best to protect yourself. I would say safety is the biggest one. And then, of course, there are all kinds of other factors, such as discrimination, LGBTQ and women of color. These are things that people have to think about when they are traveling. And then, of course, there's things like the pay gap, and, a lot of women don't make as much, and so they may not have as much money. So that's holding them back as well. So those are all things that we try to help women with, so that they can travel.
Right. We're like, the number one thing that prevents women from traveling is men.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. You said it.
Connection.
Yes,
I knew, but it is true as well. It's a men's world, and men are most of the time stronger than women and more sexually aroused, I guess. So they do stupid stuff, especially in third world countries. But I will agree with you in the fact that it's mostly fear. It's like Mexico. Oh shit, cartels! You're gonna have your head chopped off. But no, that's really not the reality here.
Exactly.
Physically speaking, and people do get scared and get prevented from taking action in that regards, and that is pretty sad. And to me, there's so much more value in taking risks and overcoming challenges, because there are those challenges when you travel, especially if you're a woman and you get in a taxi that's that's not too trustable. It happened to me, but I'm a man. I know how to defend myself and so forth. So what situations you advise women to not put themselves into? And then I want to get in the self-defense part.
Sure, I can talk about those things. I mean, I think a lot of it isn't so much things that you shouldn't do. Women, you said you're a man, you know how to defend yourself. Women know how to defend themselves too. It's more about, I think, situational awareness. So you talked about taxis. That's a great one. So, we always say, make sure that you select a reputable taxi company. Make sure that you know what the companies are in the country that you're in, and that you're getting into one of those and not just a random taxi. We recommend that women always make sure they have a trusted contact, somebody that knows where they are. And you can even do something like tell someone when you get into a cab, like, hey, I'm getting into a cab and here's where I'm going. And then just sort of check in with them. All right, I'm there, as a way to kind of make sure that someone is knows where you are and knows quickly if something has gone wrong. So it's more about how to prevent than to not do something.
Okay, so we have a couple of scenarios here, not to go out too late in, like dark streets, I guess, or some neighborhoods, or avoid drunken hotspots, I guess that would be another one. Then what do you do? Because, for example, my wife, I have her use pepper spray. Pepper
Mhm.
spray, I think, is really effective against anyone because it generates overwhelming pain and you lose a couple of senses, your sight, your smell, your ability to swallow, so you're quickly neutralized. So what
Mhm.
do you do if you have someone trying to take over you and fuck up your travel?
Yeah, well, one of the things about pepper spray is that it is not legal in some countries. You may not be able to bring it onto an airplane, like we were talking about with planes before. So you can't always rely on something like pepper spray. There is something called a Birdie, Birdie. I don't. This is an unsponsored promotion of them, but it's an alarm that can go off. You put it on your keychain. And when you pull it, it makes this like piercing sound. So that can be something nice to carry with you that's legal, that won't get you in trouble anywhere in the world. But the minute you feel uncomfortable, you can pop this thing and it'll definitely draw attention and scare people away. The other thing too is, you said self-defense. I highly, highly recommend that all women take a self-defense course. There is a great company, again, unsponsored, but I took their courses and I volunteered with them for years because it's so amazing. It's a global program called Impact, and it specifically supports women in learning how to use their bodies, women's bodies. A lot of the martial arts and stuff are built for men who have this upper body strength, and Impact focuses on using women's strength to protect themselves against someone who may actually be trying to attack them. Again, that's actually very rare. And that's one of the things that we try to talk about is like, let's actually look at the statistics of how often someone's actually trying to physically grab you. It does happen. You should be prepared. But a lot of times it's other things that are happening. For instance, you talked about drunken hotspots, right? Like, you need to be very careful with your drink. Unfortunately, and we didn't really do this caveat, but all of this sucks. Like, I wish I could be like, no, whatever, do anything you want and live your life. But like, the reality is just what you said. The hardest part about, preventing women from travel is men, and we can't we can't change that. So if you are going to go out to drink, you never put your drink down. You never walk away from it. You should always actually have your hand over it. Again, you should always have someone that you can check in with. It might be the bartender. You might go to the bartender and just be like, I need someone to know that, like, that I'm here. Again, friends, anybody to kind of keep you safe in case you start feeling woozy. The minute you're like, oh, I don't feel good, you need to be sort of telling someone, getting out of there, because there is a chance, unfortunately, that someone has put something in your drink. They do sell something that you can put in your drink, I think, that changes color if someone puts a chemical in it. So, those are, again, things. So it's not that you shouldn't go out. It's that you should, again, take those steps to make sure that you are as protected as possible.
Sad and interesting at the same time, right? That these tactics are used by, yeah, humans, and there's a lot of us, so there will always be bad actors out there.
Yep.
And in the first place, like, why should women travel? What kind of impact can it have on their lives?
what impact does travel have on their lives? It's all of it. I think it is something, going back to this idea of fear. I think when you travel as a woman, whether in a group or solo, we always encourage people to travel solo because men do it all the time and women think they can't. And so I think when you get out there and you really explore, you discover your strength as a woman, as a human. You discover who you are and what you're truly capable of. You can make new friends. You can just discover the world. And I think also learn more about yourself, not only your strength, but just sort of, we all live in our own worlds. Wherever we are, it's all we know until we get out and we see more. I think it makes us more empathetic to see how other people live and what we have in common and what we don't. So I feel like travel should just be mandatory. I wish we could just say you have to get out there. But we really,
mandatory.
yes, yeah. I should have seen that one. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, how many of your followers are entrepreneurs or digital nomads?
I don't have the latest statistics on that, but I know a lot of them. Of course, they're very attracted to that, either as a dream or they're actually pulling it off, right? Actually making it happen. But I would say that is probably one of the top questions that we get is how can I make money and travel? How can I be a digital nomad? So you're really hitting on one of the hot button questions for our members.
And how did you do that?
How did I do it? Well, I mean, for me, it was unfortunately a little bit of a fluke in the sense that I didn't know my blog was going to turn into this. At the same time, it was something, the advice that I always give people is if you start doing something that you are truly passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, sometimes it does, don't get me wrong, but right, you bring to it something that makes you want to come back every day or almost every day. And then once you realize that you've tapped into something that excites other people and makes them feel the same way you do, the growth does follow in a sense. There is work. Obviously, you need to listen to what people need and to start providing it. So for instance, providing trips, that was not something I had intended to do with Girls Who Travel. I really just wanted to be an online resource, but people kept asking when we were going to start doing trips. And so I eventually got into it almost reluctantly. But it's a lot of that kind of listening to what people are passionate about, what they need, and then working to give it to them and to recognize the value of what you're doing and to find a good, I guess, price point for how to connect people.
What are some of your most recommended destinations?
Wow. Well, we are most recommended or what's hot, because those are two different things.
We can go with both.
Well, I can definitely say that during, I think post-pandemic, people are really interested all of a sudden in getting off the beaten path. I think people are really wanting to seize the day and see something that they haven't seen before because, I mean, we all love Paris. It's wonderful, but I think people are really hungry to go somewhere that they've never gone before because going through a pandemic makes you realize every day you just don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, what we're seeing instead of the fun vacation, places like I know Portugal is very popular still. It's such a nice place to go, but really the places that people are kind of hungry to go to are we're talking about going to Bhutan. People are very excited about this, going on a safari. And I don't want to say that a safari is off the beaten path, but I think it's just when you picture kind of those typical spots, those typical vacation spots, that takes a lot of people have to fly a lot further. So it's been really exciting to see people getting excited about doing something a little bit different than just kind of like, going to a beach.
What are your most recommended travel items or softwares?
Wow. So I am a big fan of packing light. And so, I think especially when you're younger, and I will say in a group like Girls Who Travel, a lot of our members love to pack like a lot of shoes and cute dresses. And I'm always encouraging them like, no, maybe not. Like it's just a lot to pack. You want to be able to kind of move freely. So, I think having packing are absolutely one of my favorite. You can put them in your backpack, you can put them in your suitcase, whatever you need. And it will provide you with more space so that you can get souvenirs and whatever else. Yeah, I think you need a portable charger for your phone. Phones are our lifelines now. So it's really important that you be able to charge your phone wherever you are, especially if you run out of battery. Yeah, I think anything that is also reusable. So shampoo bottles that you can fill back up again instead of using those little ones from the hotel or whatever, as well. I think that's important to have. So yeah, those are some of my favorite ones. I don't know. Do you have any favorites? I see you on the move there.
Yeah, Kiwi.com, Airbnb. What about softwares?
Yeah, I mean, I think, gosh, it really depends. My biggest advice to people is less the software and more about not letting the software track you. So using a VPN or clearing your cookies wherever you go. A lot of time these websites are tracking you. And if they see you look at a Airbnb and then come back again later, the price may go up because they know they know that you want it and that you're willing to pay for it. So yeah, that I think more than the software, because I don't know. I feel like you're going to find it wherever you go, right? If you Google hotel rooms or room shares or cheap flights, you're going to get a million websites. But how do you trick those websites into giving you the best price?
Right, I'd say also a nice travel bag, I have an Amazon basic, like huge travel bag that is not like too expensive. Yeah, that's definitely recommended. Then I was checking Google Fi back in the days. Nowadays, I think it's more startling. We're thinking of buying a nomad van, which would have me avoid the airplanes, like we've talked.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about like nomad life and nomad?
Van life. Well, I can tell you for sure, especially during the pandemic, that I saw a lot of people doing van life. My cousin actually did it. So I know a lot of people have done it. And what I have heard repeatedly is that it is not as easy as it looks on Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok. So it is amazing, but you have to kind of know that, I mean, you're not going to have a shower. You have to find a bathroom, or you have to find a place to like plug your RV in and, dump all that out. And I think a lot of people can be really surprised by that. You may not have a lot of good air conditioning. So if you find yourself in a really hot place or there's a heat wave, like I know someone who brought their cat with them, and then they got stuck in a heat wave and their mom had to come and get the cat because the cat was ready. They couldn't cool the RV down enough to keep the cat safe. So, it is very romantic. And I think that a lot of people can and have done it. I think it can be really nice short term as well. One of our team members does van life kind of in spurts. So she's in Europe, so she can like go. It's not like that in the US where I am, but she can just hop from country to country, but she'll do it on a vacation, on a holiday, and spend a week or two kind of driving around. So I think that always appealed to me a little bit more. But yeah, I think that it is amazing, but you have to really, really do your research before you like go out and buy the van.
My research is action, so buy it, fail, because I can afford it as well, like if like it's your life's dream and it's like do or die. Also, obviously, like your independence, like have your own business. And make sure that if you fuck up, in my case, in most digital nomads case, it would be at Starlink that wouldn't work, make sure that you can afford these mess ups, and that if you miss an important meeting, then your business won't go under, I guess. But
Right.
yeah, it's really, to me, it's about buying the thing and just like failing, and then eventually like having fun from it, and here in Mexico, there's places that they can do it for very cheap, convert a Sprinter or a Nissan here, they use quite a lot, the NV 3500, I think it's called. So eager to see that. And yeah, we have dogs now, but we don't have kids yet. What about people with kids? Do you recommend keep on traveling? Is it a complicated thing?
Absolutely, 100%. In fact, we are looking to do our first Girls Who Travel family trip in 2025 because I really want to show people or encourage people to travel with children. It is different. It is hard. I have 2 children. It has changed everything. You were talking about how you don't travel as much because you have a house. And I was like, oh, it's not just the house. Once you have kids, you're like, how do I do this? But you do. You do. That's the thing is I love what you just said. And I hope that people will take it to heart. You try, you fail, 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 right? Like, and then eventually it'll work. That is the story of my book that's getting published. I tried for 20 years. I failed a lot. I got rejected hundreds and hundreds of times until I didn't get rejected. And I think, right, with van life, same thing. And with kids, same thing. Maybe don't hop on a plane the first time and go halfway across the world with children. That might, I mean, you might be a little traumatized, but I think you absolutely should travel with kids. And I think you can start small and then work your way up. And I think that your children will be better off for it, right? Don't wait until they're in college and they're starting to explore. Get them used to it now and get them seeing the world.
Of that. Where can people find out more about you, Arden?
Yeah, so if people want to learn more about me, they can head to ardenjoy.com. That has all the links to Girls Who Travel and everything we do there, as well as my book and other projects that I'm working on because I just am always busy.
Love it. And I'm Charles Cormier, host. That was Arden Joy, and you can find us on founderwisdompodcast.com.